Hello everybody, welcome to your Every Other Day vlog with Andy with Be Libre. This is number 6, almost done with Matt's Points. If you remember the very first episode of Matt's Points, we discussed this gentleman who, or woman, who knows what it could have been. But this person reached out on one of my episodes. It was the one that has so far gotten the most views on Mark Blythe's thoughts of Bitcoin. I guess I gotta just bring in people that are more well known and put them on my title of my video. Just be very clickbaity. Apparently, clickbait is how you win. Is that not the case? Is that not true? That the more clickbaity you are, the more views you get. Before I continue to ramble on, and just to be clear, I'm not trying to be clickbaity. The idea is to at least try to draw you in with something meaningful and realistic, and not just throw in nonsense. Anyway, so let's get into this. We're gonna do Matt's sixth point on why Bitcoin is problematic or why it probably won't work. Of course, as you all know, I'm a Bitcoin proponent, so I'm gonna try to rebuttal his points with a little bit of facts, a little bit of elbow grease, and yeah, just plain just my opinion over that I from the data or slash knowledge that I've accumulated over time, being in the Bitcoin space for the last 5 years. Anyway, let's get to it. Number 6, opening the page here. Here we go. Hoarding is rampant. People do the craziest things, literally mortgaging their financial futures on a blind trust of a computer algorithm. Even more so, to blindly trust that a coin whose only real distinguishing factor is its root keys, name, and popularity versus other coins determines whether it lives or dies. Social media stories tend to focus only on the winners, like the winner of a lottery. It hardly ever focuses on the losers, and most people are losers. There are only a handful of wallets that even have any significant number of full Bitcoins, which means that the true whales exploiting the system pretty much have free reign, and the hoarders are going to wind up being the bag holders. So, the topic or the concept of a bag holder, for those of you who don't know, a bag holder is somebody who has a lot of an asset or has bought a lot of, let's just say, stocks in Tesla when it was worth a lot. I'm not saying that it's going to go down. This is just a. I really wish Elon would get things figured out and just do the things that he says he's going to do. But if you read his biography, you'd know that he eventually does pull through. Let's not get sidetracked, but please, Tesla, the gods of technology of Tesla, please get Tesla going, and let's go to the moon and Mars and everywhere in between. Anyway, so yeah, the bag holder is a person that buys a lot of things at a high price, and then when the price inevitably goes down, or should the price go down to zero or something close to that, then the person who put all their money into these assets effectively loses everything. So you put all this money into something you thought would go up in value, only to lose it all, and now you're left with nothing, and you're broke. What does this remind me of, Matt? 2008. All these millions of people were hoping that the system they were investing in would not screw them over, and it did. It destroyed millions and millions of dollars. Millions of people were hurt. Millions of people thought that this system could not be broken, that it was completely safe, and they lost everything. There is nothing in this world, in this universe, that is completely safe when it comes to investing your money into something. You're always betting that the asset that you're putting your money into is going to retain, at the very least, beat out inflation, which I think realistically at this point is between 4 and 6%, or just accumulate massive value. Every day is an attempt to make a little bit of money, make a little bit of capital, to then be able to invest it into something and hope that it grows faster than it loses value. We're always preparing for the future. That's what makes us, the human species, one of the most intelligent in our universe that we know of so far, is the fact that we can prepare for tomorrow, prepare for what's going to be happening not today, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, months in advance. You want to be able to prepare for what could be coming down the road where you just don't expect it. And that's why we're always trying to put some money aside. Money is an abstract concept anyway, but the idea that you're putting money aside that is going to be able to retain its value, or that you'll be able to tap into sometime in the future. That's the better money. The better money is the one that increases in value and that you'll be able to tap into sometime in the future should you ever need it. So yes, Matt, there is absolutely the bag holder concept that rings true in everything from stocks and of course to crypto. Am I telling people to invest in Tron or IOTA or any of these other crazy concepts? Absolutely not. Bitcoin itself is a risk. It's an extremely high risk. But with it, obviously comes a reward. If the technology is actually useful, if it actually does what it sets out to do, if it's reliable, if it's safe, it's going to accumulate value. We are finding ourselves in a world where the last safest asset was gold. It no longer is gold because it seems that you can manipulate the gold price as they have been. And when I say they, I'm not really sure who it is, but it's pretty blatantly clear that the gold market is being manipulated. Why? Because the dollar in no way should be holding its current value against gold. Absolutely no way. With quantitative easing, all the amount of money that's been pumped into the system, no way that it keeps anything near the current price of what gold's at today. So, if you're going to invest into any asset, it's either got to be stocks or gold, or some company, directly investing in a company, becoming a member or an owner of a company. Bitcoin is another hedge. It's another opportunity to put money into an asset that may depreciate, may appreciate, and therefore it's safe. We never know. There's absolutely no way to know the future, but the market tends to slowly gravitate, or even quickly in some cases, towards an asset where it will retain its value and you'll have your value safely parked for the future should you ever need it. So all these other cryptocurrencies that are not Bitcoin, they're merely copies, and people should know this. If you do a little bit of research, you would know that Bitcoin is the very first and the most reliable cryptocurrency out there. There's no reason to meander and put value into other things. People that are doing that are likely already putting money down every week in the lottery. Putting value into anything else that's not Bitcoin at this point, you're really just taking a blind shot in the dark, guys. I won't say that other cryptos couldn't be valuable or that they couldn't bring something to the table. It's just we haven't seen enough of it yet. Bitcoin is so far the most reliable. It is the one that has been retaining its value and increasing steadily over time. It's the one that has the least amount of changes. It's the most conservative, has the most developers working on it. So yes, Matt, I agree that people will be holding bags, just as they have been in every other market. When it comes to lotteries or even betting, you shouldn't be putting money aside into betting that you couldn't afford to lose. Catastrophically, tragically enough, you had people thinking that they were putting good money behind the assets that our incumbent financial system was promising was completely safe and solid, and that led to the 2008 crash. What do you do at that point when the system that's telling you it's the safest is not the safest? What do you do? Bitcoin is merely a hedge. I found out about it about 5 years ago. It's been something of a wild ride, but it's also been very enlightening as far as what money has been, what it wasn't, what it isn't, what it should be, what it shouldn't be, and we don't know the truth. We don't know we know certain truths. We can get philosophical and talk about, what is truth and what's not. But we're just going to go with facts. We're just going to go with what is, with history. And it has been known that paper currencies always fail. Centralized, controlled systems usually fail compared to decentralized, more robust, and less controlled, manipulated systems. Let the market do the work for you guys. Let the market tell you what assets are more valuable and which aren't. Sometimes there's a lot of obfuscation that happens. Sometimes there's a lot of hiding the ball with a lot of these assets. We have to. I guess we'll get this out there. Stocks are somebody else telling you that you own something. That's problematic. Why? Because should anything ever happen in the stock market systems, what happens if you think that you have value in stocks when really someone else is holding a piece of paper, you don't own it, the money goes poof. I'm going to go ahead and make a call right now that that's probably going to be the next crisis. It just came to mind, and the reason it does is because Mt. Gox was essentially the same thing. Mt. Gox, money was there until it wasn't. If you had any money parked in Mt. Gox, it was stolen because you didn't have the private keys. Mt. Gox was the custodian of your private keys. They lost them, they were hacked, or some insider took them, but you had that money. I mean, that money was, you could have withdrawn it before the private keys were taken by someone else and spent. But I believe that could very well be another way that our stock market will flush out a bunch of people from their hard-earned money. It may be one of these catastrophic, we had a glitch in the system, and now everybody who thought they had 20 stocks of Google or whatever, it's all gone. We thought we had them in this safe, but it burned down the other day, and then we tried to find the digital fingerprints. We couldn't find them, so we don't know who owned what. And you're going to have to prove if you owned any of these assets. Bitcoin does not allow for that. As long as you have your own private key, cryptocurrencies allow you to be the direct protector, custodian of your value. If you buy any crypto, okay, the honest cryptocurrencies that you can buy and move onto your own wallet, those are the ones I'm more apt to trust. Trust being in quotations because, of course, Bitcoin is the main horse that I ride. I don't think many other cryptos do provide much value, but they're a nice betting ring. So yeah, you have these things called stocks that you don't directly own, but you hope that you can someday redeem. Whereas cryptos you can always redeem, you can always get a hold of. The playing field is just extremely lowered. It's lowered to the point where almost anybody with internet connection could buy a cryptocurrency. That's a good thing and a bad thing. Of course, for the points that Matt brought up, you could end up with many bag holders. You can end up with a lot of money being confiscated or taken from people who just didn't think to check and make sure they were buying the right cryptocurrency. Even something that comes to mind is Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of people thought they were buying Bitcoin or moving Bitcoin to a Bitcoin wallet when they were moving Bitcoin Cash into a Bitcoin wallet or vice versa, and that could lead to lost money. And it's unfortunate, but this is very much a Wild West tech still. There's going to be better implementations. It's open source. Anybody is allowed to build a wallet. Anybody is allowed to make their own attempt at making a better technology or a better wallet that will protect the world's assets. We're getting there. Shout out to Bread. Alex is working with Bread. Bread is awesome. Bread is trying to add as many Ethereum tokens as possible to give people a safer option to store their coins. Of course, you should always use a hardware wallet when doing transactions on your computer because, as we all know, computers are mostly malware infested at this point. You don't want to have all your money being stolen when you thought you safely had it on a computer. Better to be safe, better to use cold storage, paper wallets. I've recently heard about a Glacier protocol or the Glacier protocol, which is a way to do Bitcoin storage or one of the safer ways to store your Bitcoins offline. I think it implements a multi-sig strategy. Really cool. I'll look into it, maybe even give my review on it, my thoughts. I'll probably try it out and let y'all know what I think. But yeah, bag holders, they're everywhere. It's in every market. The accredited investor is in the U.S. is to be able to invest in one of these we'll just say risky yet very rewarding investments in the U.S. You have to be an accredited investor. That is somebody that makes over $200,000 a year, and also you need to have a net worth of over $1 million. Guys, at this point, you are the 1%. You make more than 99% of what the people around the world make. It's ridiculous that those people are the first that have access to the proverbial honeypot and able to further make even more crazy monumental amounts of money compared to the rest of the world, who should have an attempt, who should have the option of investing in assets or in opportunities, business opportunities, but are just closed out because under the pretext of, or the pretense of safety. I mean, people should be allowed to make the decisions with their money. We already do that. And when we're giving the option of putting the money into something safe, think about all the people that weren't accredited investors that were blown out of the sky after 2008. Think about that. I mean, these were not accredited investors, yet they were putting money where they thought was safe, and it turned out not to be. What do we do at this point? I mean, just let people that are not accredited investors, let the world put their money where their mouth is. And you know what? We're going to get a much better world because of that. Manipulated markets, manipulated assets, all that stuff may be a thing of the past now that crypto's here. How is Bitcoin manipulated? It can't be, not unless it's by a majority. And at which point it'd probably be in our best benefit. It'd probably be to the majority's benefit, and that's why they'd be changing it. And there's very few things that would actually be done that the majority would decide to do that would affect the very few minority and affect them negatively. The majority of people want to act or do act in their best interest. There's a lot of obfuscation of information. We have asymmetric information problems in this world, which makes it to where most people don't know what to do with their money. A lot of people, unfortunately, put it into things like cars or houses. Currently, there's a big issue with debt in the car industry. People with very little money, they have no business getting a new car, but they get a new car. They're promised that they can pay it off eventually, when really they're just putting themselves further down the hole. And then most of those people aren't even paying off the debt, and banks are again shuffling the debt around the same way as 2008 with the housing market. Guys, this is a huge issue. I don't know how it's going to turn up. I just know that Bitcoin is a reliable technology. It's why I have some money in it. It's why it should be highly considered by those of you that don't even have it. Just put a very small percentage into it. Of course, again, these are my opinions. This is not a financial. I'm not licensed to give financial advice. This is, of course, an opinion, but I think you need to get more and more information out into the world. People do need to make their own decisions. But I will say, if you're going to be betting money into the lottery, what do you think your odds are of winning the lottery compared to Bitcoin being an actual, valid, useful technology? I think the latter is a lot more likely. It has proven itself likely within the last 10 years. Could it go down the hole tomorrow? Sure it could. But it's open source. You hire someone, you hire anybody that knows any little bit about coding and Bitcoin code, which Bitcoin is just coded in C++. Most people that are computer engineers can read that and let them tell you, yes, this is an actual robust, it's actually technically sound, it's actually reliable, the math is spot on. It has been, and that's why it's worth what it is today. I hope there's no bag holders in Bitcoin, but I can promise you that there are bag holders in many of these other altcoins that really have no business being invested in. But I mean, Bitcoin itself in the very beginning was extremely risky. As time goes on, it's been less risky. It's been proven to be rewarding the people that trusted it first and invested in it first. People want that from alts, but I honestly doubt they'll get it. As a lot of these are just clones of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the stronger network. Bitcoin is a more reliable network. So yeah, guys, that has been my rebuttal to Matt's 6 point. And I hope you like. If you like, please subscribe, please share with a friend, and until next time, see ya.